There's a fear that's keeping your business from growing, and it's probably not what you think. I know this because I also had this fear, and it was literally choking and killing my business, just death grip for years. And it wasn't until that I posted my first video that was actually incredibly awkward. There was a surprise appearance in the video that I didn't even know about, and other people told me after it was already posted live. And then once I overcame that and discovered what was really holding me back, that actually trickled into millions of people seeing my other videos in the future. I want to dive into this and share with you the first part that really holds a lot of business owners back from getting more marketing out there, more specifically video marketing. And that's this idea of perfection. You know, there is actually a prison. You're in a prison for perfection, okay? And I want to share with you some insights that could help you get out of this prison to help you move forward a lot faster and, you know, increase your growth. So perfection can come from different ways. Sometimes it could be like, I got to make sure I have the right clothes on. I got to make sure my background looks good and the lighting and the microphone and the computer. And maybe I need a new phone. I need a DSLR camera and I need all these things. I need the tripod and all that stuff. Or it could be, what do I say? Am I saying it the right way? Am I speaking clearly? Do people know what I'm saying? And am I going to jumple my words? Am I going to lose my words? Am I going to have too many ahs and ums and its and ins and that's and all that stuff, right? So I'm sure the editing process is going to take that right out. But anyway, my point is that you may get stuck in these parts of the process. And that's the prison. You just get stuck in it over and over again, thinking you need to be perfect, thinking you need to have everything right. And let me tell you, I'm particular. Okay, I wouldn't say I look for perfection, but I'm definitely particular, and I like to be organized. So I felt a lot of that in the beginning, and I was really struggling. And guys, I did exactly what I just mentioned. I went out, I bought a new Toshiba computer, and I went out and I got some new clothes, and I went out and I got this like camera. I think it was called a creative something. I forgot the name of it, but it was like everybody had one. It had one camera. You put a SD card inside of it and you push the middle button. Everybody was hanging it on their necks and stuff. I forgot the name of this camera, by the way. And everybody had one at that time. It was like so trending. It was before, camera phones and smartphones and all that stuff. So I had one of those, and guess what? It made a great place paperweight there on my desk at the time. And I didn't use it until one day I got so frustrated and I just said, you know what? I need to do something. I need to just get out there and record. And finally, I remember I was sitting in my office chair. By the way, I bought a new desk. I mean, I had everything. Okay. And I was like, gotta get ready for this video. And I said, no, forget it. I'm just gonna go do it right now. Nobody was home. I went and I even took a shower. I got dressed in a white shirt and I think a blue tie. And I grabbed the tripod, I grabbed the camera, and I went outside to like this garage area. And then behind me was the trees and the grass, and it was kind of a windy day. The wind was blowing, and I said, no, I'm going to record this. And finally, I went back upstairs and I went to go get a pen and a paper to write my notes on an outline. And I would stick it like right in front of the camera under the tripod. And guess what? It was so windy. The notes were flying everywhere. So it was just like a jumbled mess. And I was trying to say, oh, I just got to do it. I just got to record. And so I did a few takes. I hit the record button. I felt like I was messing up on my words. I wasn't saying it right. So I'd go back, hit stop, come back, record, go back, record, come back, stop. And I did this because I didn't know about editing, by the way, and post-edit. I didn't know any of that at the time. So I was just like, okay, I got to stop this camera every time. And it was just such a headache, actually. So then finally, I recorded like a whole video. I think it was like 10, maybe 15 minutes long. I don't even remember how long it was at this point, but I recorded this whole video and I said, you know what? I'm just going to get this online. I was so frustrated. So I literally recorded the video, but I watched only like the first 2 minutes. And I said, okay, that's fine. It sounds good. Let me just upload it. So I uploaded it to Facebook. And I think it was like hours later, all of a sudden people start putting comments and saying, oh my gosh, that deer, can you believe it? How did you get that deer to be in your video? And how did you, I'm like, what are these people talking about? What deer? So I go watch the video, and then about 8 minutes into the video, I think it is, there's a deer that shows up behind me, like next to the trees, and I didn't even know it. And so I was thinking like, okay, everybody is looking at the deer, but are they listening to the message? And let me tell you, most people didn't really listen to the message, maybe a few people, but everybody was like really intrigued by the deer. And it was in that moment that I realized that, even though you can record a video maybe with a perfect background, but people are going to look for something. They're going to like look for something that's, maybe something you said, or you trip on a word or something like that. It just happens. And what that really did for me, because I actually had posted that video, it was my first one. I got so excited. I went back outside. I think it was the same day. I went back outside. I started recording more videos. And I said, okay, at least people are watching this and whatever, people can laugh or they're so intrigued by the deer, but let me just get this done and I'm going to go do more. And so I did that again and I recorded more videos. And actually out of that, I think it was out of 4 or 5 videos, I created one video that really stuck with a lot of people later on. I actually used it in one of my training courses about mindset and how to crush like limiting beliefs. And they really liked that video, and that hearing people, the response that I received just helped me to say, okay, I got to do more of this. I got to do more of this. And interesting enough, when I started doing more of it, more people would subscribe, more people would show up, more people would become a client and say, hey, I want more of Nathan. I want more of this training. I want more of this consultation. I want more, and I want to change my life. And that's actually how I really launched my consulting business, because it was me extending the help to other people. And that's really what, getting your message out there is going to do. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter if you're like, let's say a travel blogger, a travel vlogger. Maybe you have a product or a service that you're trying to sell visually. Maybe you're doing training and consulting. Maybe you're doing marketing services. Whatever it is, maybe it could be beauty and cosmetics. The reality is you have a product or a service that you're trying to show people and demonstrate. Even if it's like travel videos, maybe you're trying to help people say, oh, go to this place, but don't go to this place. Go here and go there for the best experience. You are visually demonstrating to other people, your followers, your subscribers, to have the best experience. And that's serving. That's really what you do, is you're giving to other people, sharing that and helping them along the way. When I realized that was the moment that everything changed. It was when everything changed and I said, no matter what happens in these videos, I'm just going to keep making videos. And so I did, but then I hit another plateau. I hit another, interesting point. I said, oh, well, my videos got, 100 views and then 200 views and 500 views or 1,000, whatever. And then eventually went up to the hundreds of thousands. But then I hit another point and I saw other people like doing millions of views and millions of views, 100 million and all this stuff. And I was like, oh man, like, I'll never be that good, right? So now I had another voice in my head, right? And that's the comparison voice, right? Always comparing yourself to other people. And that's when I said, no, I can't do that. I got to do something different. So what I did at that time, I hired a video coach, like a streaming coach. Actually, I call her my streaming coach. And my friend Laura, she actually helped me to like just go live. And I wanted to do something different because, again, I wanted to break this barrier that I was having from not getting more videos done. So she worked with me for a month. Actually, she worked with me for 3 months, but it was the first month that we really worked together, and it was like going live daily. Let me tell you, that was a whole nother breakthrough. That's when like everything changed for me, because now when you go live, you cannot, stop and re-record and stop and fix and edit. There's none of that. You just got to show up and be congruent and be authentic. And that's what matters most, is being authentic. Right now we are in the authenticity revolution. Okay. Right now we got a lot going on. Everybody's kind of looking for perfection. We got AI, we have, amazing videos from coming out of the cinemas and in the movie industry. It seems like almost everything's perfect, even people's health or body and all that stuff. There's a lot of look your best going on right there. Instagram, right? Also known as Jealousgram, right? So there's always this thing of maybe looking better than what it is. And that can be a real problem. And so AI has actually fueled that even more. But no matter what's going on, no matter how good something may look, people are always looking for authenticity. They're looking for the humanity in the in authenticity in the mix of all that stuff. That's what people are looking for. They're looking for you to be yourself, put it bluntly. They're looking for you to be yourself. They're looking for mistakes, and they're looking for, just thoughts that you may have, like instant downloads. It doesn't have to be scripted out. As organized and as scripted as things may be in life, for example, the news is a perfect example of this. As organized as those things may be, and yes, maybe we do watch it, or even a movie has a script, there are moments in life we do need a guide and we need a script to follow and to make it real. But it's so much better when you live in your flaws and you're not perfect. That's when people really feel that. And authenticity is the new currency. People want that in their life. So that's why there's no better time to get started and do this. No matter what you're promoting, no matter what your message is, no matter what you're trying to do, you got to get this message out there into your business. So that was huge for me to go live every day, because now it's like I didn't have the edit button, I didn't have the stop and go. I just had to get it out there and be more congruent, and that was really a life-changing moment for me. So maybe for you may be stuck with the technology stuff, the right camera, the right this, the right, I gotta get this, and the audio has to be perfect and all this stuff and the lighting. And maybe that's something for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe for you it's your image. Maybe it's, I don't want to take a selfie. I don't like selfies. I don't like being on video. What are people going to think of me? The reality is, don't overthink it. That's the reality of it, because at the end, we're all humans, right? We're all going through life living this human experience, and there's something that you have to give or serve in your business, and people want to see that. That's the life, the human life we live in. But listen, I get it. If you're struggling and you want to get started and you want to get let's say your webinar done and your webinar created, or your video to promote something, or like I said, a product or a service, and you're just a little stuck, in the description, I put a book that I wrote called Unstoppable Confidence: What to Do in the Moments That Matter Most. And when I wrote that book, it was actually because a lot of questions that I was getting and trying to help people. So I organized it in a book, and it helped a lot of people, and people gave it great reviews when they followed the action steps. So if that may be helpful to you, you can get it in the description. But also there may be something a little deeper for you. Maybe you just need a little bit more than a book. Maybe you need some a little bit more in-depth conversation. So I call that a discovery call. So if you need that, you can book that as well, and we'll take some time in doing that. I may not be in my studio, I may be traveling, I could be in an airport, I could be at a cafe, wherever it may be, but we could do that and spend some time together so we can have just an instant breakthrough. It's something that I wish I had when I was stuck, right? It was in those moments that I actually discovered this on my own and had to, it was a book that it was actually a few books that I used, but it was a book that I used to help motivate me to go say, I'm shooting this video today, but sometimes I also needed that. If I had someone to help me break through a little bit faster, maybe kick me in the butt or whatever it is. So I want to provide that to you. So if you need that, you can use the link, and then we'll spend some time together to do that. But just know this, that your message to get out there, it matters, and people need to hear it, especially in this time, right? There's a lot of negativity out in the marketplace, and your message can transform someone's life, whether it's with a product, a property, or a service. All right, hope this is helpful. If you like this video, give it a like, or if you have any questions or comments, you can throw it in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.